This is the Reverb Experiment episode number 4.
Four.
On the mic, you have G_Focus. We have Steph.net in the building.
What's up?
We have Raggio in the building.
Raggio.
We have Photo B in the building.
Oh, look, it's me.
And we also have a special guest with us as well. We will introduce her before we get into the topic. First, we would like to just thank all of our listeners, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. We definitely appreciate the support. For those that have been supporting us but would like to support us better, the best way for you to support us is to either follow, subscribe, and share our podcast.
Ring the bell.
We are also going to have a special promotion that if you 5-star us on Apple and leave a comment, we will read your comments on the air next episode. So please,
so
for us to be able to get to where we need to get to, we definitely need the public, the culture, everybody to support us. And we are black owned, 100% black owned, right?
You can tell by looking at me.
Absolutely.
Rasta, your road boy had a black owned business, no.
So we have
black over there.
So
Hey, I didn't know about the special.
the special.
You didn't read the show notes.
Then read the show notes.
I skimmed.
Now, you know,
got the
would
main
you want to
highlights?
highlight if people do like our content and they want to comment? Just,
Yeah.
you know, share it on the air. So we got a special show today. It's July 4th. I don't know if anybody's here celebrating the 4th. I know I'm not.
Juneteenth.
Okay, perfect. Juneteenth, right? Because we celebrated Juneteenth last episode.
Period.
So today for us is just a regular day. So on today's show, everybody's been anticipating this, so we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about Jada Pinkett Smith versus August Alsina. We're also going to talk about Raggio and his trash list.
Ooh, it's not very long.
There's a few people I can think they need to be on that list.
It's
So
not
hopefully
very
you
long.
got them on there.
not
And
very long.
we have the honor and the pleasure of having Dr. Nicole S. Jackson here to talk about trauma. She
Come on.
He's using that brand new iPod.
Hey, I'm trying to multitask. I want to make sure to put some respect on your name, right?
Your
Please,
contributions to the
PhD.
pod are shown in our new facts.
Right. So we want to welcome her. She has a PhD in forensic psychology from Walden University. She has been practicing in human services for 19 years. She's also the host of the broadcast titled Mental Health and Healing, and she also will be launching a brand new podcast that is titled Let's Talk Resilience. Thank you. Welcome to the show.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for having me.
That's my big sister.
Oh, man.
He had to throw that plug.
He had to throw it in there. Yes, I'm his big sister.
I did it for the clout.
Hey,
So-
hey.
So before we get into the interview, I don't know if you guys were like actually brother sister
Yes.
play.
Nah.
So how was he like as a kid?
For real, for real?
For real,
like
for real.
that?
Be honest.
The same, huh?
He was the same. He was
Come on, man. They don't believe
he's
in
an
me.
absolute.
They don't believe me.
He is just who he is. What you see is what you
Is what you
get.
get.
And
Oh.
if you get something different, check his temperature. Take him to a hospital. Make sure he all right.
What kind of
Wow.
question is that? One of one, baby.
Growing up with that.
One
your
of
whole
one.
life.
hey, you see how they treat me? But look where I'm sitting. I'm at the table.
You at the table, but no,
I'm at the
legit.
table.
And yes,
Bless him.
He said he made it
bless
to the
you guys
table.
for making this decision
Black table talk.
to bring him to the table.
Black table talk.
Yes. Black table talk.
Black table talk all day.
All right.
That's the clip.
So there's obviously been a lot going on, and within the community and for Black people in general. And I think that we thought that this was a great conversation. So thank Raggio, for actually bringing it up and inviting Doctor to the table, right? So we can talk about trauma. I think it's a very important topic. So before, I don't want to beat around the bush. We're going to just get right into the interview because that's what people wanted to hear, right?
Yeah.
So first question I have for you. I was doing some research. So your motto is resilience is a journey to healing.
Yes.
Do you mind elaborating on what that means and what is so important about resiliency?
Okay. So what my motto means is that it's people believe that those who face trauma are automatically resilient, and they believe that they automatically heal, and that's not true. We are innate to survive. We are not innate to be resilient, right? Resilience have to be developed. Resilience have to be fostered, and that happens through proper coping mechanisms, an amazing support system, right? So you can say somebody went through child abuse, right?
Right.
And they get through, they're going through the developmental stages, just depending on where it happens. They get through that. They get to adulthood and adolescence, and you're starting to see these underlining behaviors, and you're like, hey, oh, what's up with you?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Or you're like, you're 20, but you're acting 8. Well, chances are that a trauma happened at 8 and they were emotionally stunted at that age. So they're going to continue sometimes to behave and respond to adverse situations at that age.
Right.
Right? So when I say that it's a journey, I mean, when you're ready to unpack what
Right.
you've been through, it takes time. The buildup of trauma didn't happen immediately, so unpacking it is not going to happen
Right.
immediately.
Right.
And as soon as you can start that journey, you can begin to heal. I always tell people, find ground zero. Okay, and to me, ground zero is what was the trauma. I'm not asking you to relive it. I'm not asking you to talk about it. I'm asking you to acknowledge it so that you can take your power back.
Right. Right.
And you can begin to say, okay, this is what it is. This is what happened. Now,
Right.
let's move forward. I don't blame myself. So, I mean, there's so many levels to it.
So owning it. Right.
And not taking the blame for it, putting
Right.
blame where it belongs. So if you look at it, that is a journey towards healing from the situation which occurred. What was the second part of your question?
No. I think
That's
that
bars.
answered it. It was.
I'm taking notes.
Yeah.
Surviving is not
Hey,
resilience.
you know, we had like I said, we talked the other day like 8 hours, and that was probably the first thing we spoke about. Because we talk about, we can only go off of our own experiences, so we have a lot of relatable instances.
Right.
She's known me my whole life, right?
Right,
So
right.
when we were talking about trauma, that's what I said. I said, well, you can choose to live as a victim or a survivor, and she's like, nah, you have
No,
to.
you
have to.
can't.
There's a step further than surviving. You know what I mean? So.
And my goal is actually to redefine resilience. Everybody says resilience is when you've made it through an adverse situation, right? No, that's survival. Resilience is when you're able to thrive past that adverse situation.
Bars, bro.
And so you can get all the way to 45 and still be surviving and thinking, God, you're getting day to day.
That's true.
And you're still having intrusions from that trauma. Whereas if you're resilient, you're thriving. Those intrusions are probably less, and even if they happen, you know how to get through them so that you can be successful through your day.
That's
so
good.
that's the difference.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah. That definitely answers my question.
Bars.
That's bars. Yeah, that was bars. I ain't gonna lie. What encouraged you to pursue your career in mental health?
Oh, Lord. You want reality?
information.
My life.
We keep it real.
And look at my life as a child.
It's probably me, bro.
Him, you know, he dealing with him. I was like, oh God, I got to do something different. No, but really, my life as a child, the things that I went through. I remember probably about the age of 7. I said, when I grow, my profession is going to be in child psychology. I said, because children need someone to talk to. Right? We grew up in a home where children were seen and not heard. And even if you were heard, it really didn't matter, because the question was, are you telling me that I'm lying? The answer was really yes, but then what came out verbally was no.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it took me a while to get there. I started out there, then I went to do something else, and then I took my career in human services, and then I was like, okay, it's time to go back. Because I still felt like, okay, I've been out there in the community, I see what people need, I'm going to know how to provide exactly what they need.
Got it.
I provided services to families for years, right? And now I'm just like, okay, now it's time for me to take all of the information I gained from providing services to family
Right.
and put something together so that I can help them now heal. Because
Got it.
I've seen so many traumas. Secondary trauma is absolutely real. But that's why, because there has to be something out there to help people be all right.
Man, we grew up in kind of we were pastors' kids, but the pastor was a crackhead.
Sorry.
I mean,
Why do you have to say it like that?
well, because it's the truth.
Because it's the truth,
So-
and
Well,
he'll tell,
it's
and
unfiltered
he
truth.
himself, he himself will tell you that it's
Yes,
true.
yeah. Well, I mean,
That's
so growing up, we were a certain way on Sunday and Wednesday, right?
And maybe
then-
Thursday for usher board meeting, but she was never on the usher board, so that didn't.
I can't.
But the rest of the week, whatever my mom and my dad had dealt with in their lives, they never handled any of that individually. So the clash of it, I feel like was as the children, we took the brunt of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So we had to grow up, and like she said, we weren't allowed to speak on, all of us, we grew up in that era where, what happens in this house stays in the house.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Man.
It's so dangerous.
Right. So, even in my own siblings, you can kind of see like the different levels of effect it's had on all of us. Look at that.
Let me tell you that my siblings are the reason I did the study that I did.
Right.
Just period.
Right, because there's not gonna be a lot of people who want to have these open conversations.
Nope.
These are hard conversations, right? So in my own family, I mean, not to throw people under the bus, but we have people who are extremely successful. My dad has a PhD, so it makes sense that someone else would get a PhD. You know what I mean? But then on the other sector of it, we have those. We all have our own struggles, and you can just see how each of us kind of dealt with it in our own. So I mean, I don't know why she went into it, but I could understand why I would go.
Well,
I would have did it right.
Yeah.
You know what
Right.
I mean?
I think that speaks to what we were saying last episode, and just what I think just in general, that your pain, God will use your pain for your purpose.
Facts, bro.
Right?
Facts.
And unless you've been there, I think it means more when you've been there, because then you can speak to it at a better place. Right?
Absolutely.
Like if I go to a therapist, or if I go to a marriage therapist and he's single and he's never been married before, yeah, I mean, he can talk about it from a place of studying it, but have you lived it?
Right.
And I can relate to you better when you've been
That's
there
real.
from a place, right? So, I understand, and I think that's just how God works. I think God will purposely have you go through certain things so that way what he's
Yeah,
intended
bro,
for you to
that-
be, that's what you're supposed to be, right?
Yeah, that
Absolutely.
double life is.
Listen.
Well,
Yeah,
is-
Cannot imagine.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying I can't imagine. And I know what you were saying as far as what happens in this house stays in this house. That's so hard to deal with when you're watching stuff and you're looking like
this don't make sense.
it don't make no sense. It
Right.
ain't adding up. And I'm silenced.
I mean, we went through. I mean, we had domestic violence, drug abuse, just things that I could think of. Man, we've come back from family vacations. We've been held up at gunpoint by people robbing us in the house, bro. Like,
And the thing is I got out of it sooner than he did, right?
Right.
I was
so
older.
if I'm a little more fucked up, it
We-
makes sense.
I got out of it before he did. He was very little when me and our older sister left the home.
Right.
I never went back except for to just be there as support for them, right?
You know how crazy that sounds? To
they
come back
would
as support?
I would get phone calls like, "Can you just come?" And I didn't care where I was. I'm dropping it, and here I come, right? So these kind of situations, and legit, I couldn't have been no more than 15, 16, 17, all the way up until they were out of the home, really.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
That time period
Shoot,
where
they-
where I would, if they call me, I'd be like, okay, I'm coming. I don't know what's going on, but period.
Right.
I'm going to be there.
So, and unfortunately, I just think that's, and I'm not just sure if it's as common to the black community, but I know I hear it a lot in the black community.
Right, for sure.
How did that affect your guys' relationship?
Our
When
relationship?
she left
Mhm.
and you're still dealing with it.
Well, I'm a little bit different, bro. Like I'm really like I'm a water off a duck's back kind of guy. So I don't really harbor a lot of hatred or frustration. Once I really get an understanding that it's out of my control, I'm okay with it being out of my control. I'm okay with distancing myself from it and separating myself.
But that
from
came later, though, correct?
maybe early because we had to grow up quick.
I mean,
Got it.
like,
Yeah.
he legit was when I left, he couldn't have been any more than 2 or 3. So he was very
Yeah, okay.
young
Yeah.
Got it.
when I left. But I have to say that our relationship has been absolute solid. I don't think we've had any beef at all.
Never
In all these years.
Well, I don't think I really have beef with much of anybody.
Okay, well.
I would disagree with that.
I mean,
In your family.
So did you
Oh,
just say, okay, well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
There we
So-
go.
No,
Yeah.
in my well, so
In your family.
in my
Let's
family.
be
Well,
specific. In your family.
in my family,
Yeah,
but.
yeah.
Because I'm gonna keep it 100 even more. I really don't care if people beef with me outside of my family.
Yeah.
So I'm not. I water off a duck's back, bro.
No, I got you.
But our relationship, I think our relationship was. It is what it is when we were younger. But as we got older, and then DeMar started coming around.
DeMar is my husband.
Yeah. Our relationship been solid, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
And he came around when I was 15. So
Yeah.
that should just give you
So
a...
he has
How
he has a
long?
good understanding. of-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
psh, what?
I got it.
DeMar's a hero.
I got it. Shout out to DeMar.
You know what I mean? 'Cause, man, look, bro.
Matter of fact, hold on. He needs a air horn for that. Hold on. hey, no, but for real, sometimes somebody coming from the outside
Bro.
coming in that can see the whole because sometimes I think when you're in a situation like that, it becomes normal.
It is normal.
So
You
when somebody
normalize
from the
it.
outside
You
comes in, it's
absolutely
like, whoa, like
See-
what's going on? You know what I mean?
Our life for me my life was we go to church and then we're spending the majority of the day at the park because of things that are going on at home.
Right.
Right.
And then when I would come, they want me to take them to the park. And I'm like, you want to go where? You want
Yeah.
us to walk where?
Yeah.
I don't want to.
It's
But
blocks.
we went.
It's blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but because at that point it was me, and I was taking my younger siblings outside of the house.
Right.
So you know what I mean. So I think for me, man, I think I kind of just developed a kind of mental toughness and mental fortitude to kind of. That's why I think when people say that I'm not very sensitive or emotional, is because my trauma for me growing up was so significant that the little stuff I don't really sweat. And and does that make sense? And growing up, I didn't realize how unfair it was to other people to
Got
not sweat their small. And I'm not gonna say they're small issues, but the issues that I
you
seen
perceived
were
as being small.
insignificant. I'm
I
like,
got you.
bro, the things that I lived through.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Right? Going to, being held at gunpoint and my dad in and out of the house doing drugs, my mom and dad, domestic violence, and then we got to go to church. You know what I'm saying?
And pretend that everything was Gucci.
I don't remember a good Christmas or Thanksgiving or anything until after my dad was out of rehab. You know what I mean? So I was just so used to chaos and turmoil, but I think that's why I fit in with so many. I think that's why you fit in with so many.
Well, it makes you be able to have well. Sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it does. It gives you more empathy for what other people may be going through, or to be able to relate to other people because you've been seen almost everything.
Yeah,
and then,
but you have to grow up to be that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Which obviously that's where you're at right now, which I think is a perfect segue. So you've obviously had a lot of experience with obviously personally and then obviously professionally dealing with it. So with your 19 years of dealing with trauma, what are common misconceptions about trauma? Because I think we all kind of have a good idea of what it is, but I think just the mental health has been a hot topic as of late. So what are some misconceptions that you've had to, I guess, debunk or, answer?
So one of the main misconceptions is that trauma and mental health don't run hand in hand sometimes. People want to talk about removing the stigma from mental health, but I believe you first have to move the stigma from trauma. People have to actually be able to say, I was traumatized, right? Before you can say mental health, right? In respect to trauma or the products of trauma is what I like to call them. And those are anxiety, depression, and things like that. When you're talking about other mental health situations like schizophrenia or bipolar and all those things like that, there is a stigma to that, and people are addressing that. but they're not addressing the stigma to trauma. People don't want to say that they were traumatized. So trying to break down that barrier to say it is okay to say that something happened, because that's the only way that you're going to get past
Facts.
it.
Yo, I have a question. You mentioned schizophrenia, and I've heard, and I've even read where I've read like theses and theories about people who have schizophrenia have developed safe spots mentally.
Yeah, they do. They shut down. They stay to themselves. It just also, there's levels to that as well. There's different levels to schizophrenia. There's, the onset is usually around 25 years of age. Early onset can be triggered by a traumatic situation. So where they wouldn't have experienced those symptoms until later in life, they are now experiencing them early. I know a few people, and they basically they stay to themselves. There's a lot of paranoid behavior behind that as well, and that's probably why they stay to themselves a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. I was just wondering, because I would equate, just because how we grew up and the things that we talk about. I mean, it's kind of great now because my family, we can have these kind of conversations, but it really did start with my dad saying, I had a problem here, right? And although we still have I still feel like we have miles of road to cover, but at least at the very bottom of it, my dad has gone through the rehab, and he's changed his life for us to be able to see both sides of that story.
Right.
And,
I think for me, and like how you said you can have that conversation, I feel like for me, a lot of people in a lot of my situations have this narrative of how it was, and you're kind of like, but it was not. You know what I mean? And when you bring it up, they're like, no, that's not how it was. And it's kind of like, you have like this whole fairy tale of how things were, and that's not how it was. So it's kind of hard when you can't really even get through to somebody to say that wasn't right.
We have to look at our Black community as well, who for many generations have looked at mental health and help for those situations as a negative thing, right? So they look at it as a sign of weakness. They look at it as how someone outside my situation gonna help me. Why am I gonna talk to you about it, right? So in that case, to prevent from being more traumatized, our brain will actually help us block that out. And so you're going to remember, a lot of people choose to remember the good things and the good times, right? And so when they hear other people talk about it, it may cause a bit of intrusion that they're not willing to deal with, and they're not comfortable with it. So that's why you're going to get that kickback. Oh no, that's not how it happened. It didn't happen that way. Or I don't remember that it happened that way. And legit, they probably don't remember that it happened that way.
Man, that's crazy. And that goes into other forms, like you said, schizophrenia and creating safe spaces. And I mean, it's crazy how if you break down, I guess if you decompose your life at where it's at now, and if you're really honest about what you've gone through, you can see those points. And I think for me, like before I went through counseling and to deal with the things that I was going through, for me it was just F everybody. You know what I mean? I've been through this, and and what you're going through is easily overcome because of the magnitude of how I felt, what I went through.
And so I'm glad you said that, because one of the things that I've had to debunk is that it's not easy to get over it. You hear a lot of people saying it happened, just move on. Well, no, you can't say that. Some people will be affected by it greatly. Some people won't be affected by it at all. Again, that leads back to it being a journey, and the journey being personal. So it's not as easy as saying, because we'll hear it a lot, and let's just be honest, in our family we'll hear like, okay, that happened, but why are you worried about it? Let's just move on. And that's dangerous, and it's unhealthy, because what happens is you begin to suppress those things, and it's never dealt with. So then next time something happens, you're now dealing with that new thing, and you still got emotions from that old thing. I like to say as follows. You heal easier from spoken words than you do from swallowed emotions.
That's bars.
So basically, people believe that you're not supposed to talk about the trauma, or if they want you to talk about it, they want you to give them a narrative of what happened. Please don't do that. Like, that's the worst thing you can do. You're going to re-traumatize somebody. Don't do that. Just help them understand that it happened, and help them navigate through, if this intrudes, what do I do to prevent that intrusion.
Well, I think
right?
that like when you talk to people about your trauma, you generally talk to the people you're close to, right? And if the people you're close to, they're probably close to the other person that may have inflicted the trauma or caused the trauma.
If it's within the family,
Right,
definitely.
right. So you get a lot of denial, and so I understand what you're saying. It does become a compiled situation where we were dealing in our own lives. I'm dealing with the stuff at home. My dad's on drugs. I'm going to school, right? And then I got to deal with my adolescent problems. I got to deal with being, even on fun and games, being the blackest kid at school,
Being a
being picked
heathen.
on, being, you know what I'm saying?
No.
So I'm breaking into houses. I'm running around with the wrong crowd. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting arrested at 14 years old. You know what I mean? But these are ways that I chose to kind of express that anger by taking it out on other people. Fortunately for me, I went to jail early. It taught me a
Damn.
lot of lessons. That,
Well, but even that could have caused more trauma.
no,
Fortunately.
it could no, but fortunately for me, like I said, the way that because I've been through it so long, the way that I interpret that is, yo, you got to fix this, right? A lot of people don't have that.
Yeah.
So like I said a little bit earlier, like you said, I can't just say your problems are small because of how I dealt with my own problems, because those problems for me destroyed a lot of relationships early in my life because I was deemed insensitive. But it's because we didn't have the background on one another to understand where we were coming from.
And
Got
it
it.
was also a protective factor, I believe, that you implemented as a child, where it was just shut it out, shut it down, right? One of the things that I talked about in my study is protective factors used as in childhood are very detrimental to adult relationships. So
That's bars.
let's say that as a child you would shut down, you go to your room, you climb a tree, you do anything, you just remove yourself from the situation because that actually kept you safe,
The
right?
park.
But when you begin to enter social, intimate, or familial relationships and you try that same thing, you're going to tear relationships apart because nobody's going to understand why you're withdrawing, why you're not talking,
Right.
right?
Right.
That
So
thing could carry on
let's
to-
let's
okay,
let's stay right there. So, because I think what we're going down, which kind of leads into my next question, is how does unresolved childhood trauma affect us in our adulthood, right? So Ronnie kind of talked about it, and we're talking about it now. So what are? 'Cause I don't think we understand that,
Okay.
right? Because I've read on things like I think it's called bonding theory, right? On like when you're a child, the way that you bond with the ones closest to you is the way that you bond with people throughout your life, or basically that your foundation in your home is basically the example of how you're going to be able to relate to other people. So how does unresolved childhood trauma affect us in our adulthood?
Okay, so what you're thinking about, I think, is attachment theory.
Attachment theory, there you
where
go.
you speak about the attachment of children in with
their
their
caregiver
parents
and
and
their
their
parents,
caregivers and so forth like that, and that feeds into if the caregiver is paying enough attention. What people don't realize though is a baby will cry to get the attention, and then eventually, if you ignore that child will get what we call failure to thrive because they won't try anymore.
Gosh.
But how trauma from childhood affects our adult life depends on the support systems that we had in childhood. So if you had, like, after I left the home with my father's home, and I actually had a support system outside of that situation, right? So a support system outside of the adverse situation. People telling me that it was going to be okay. People telling me that I can still be whatever I want to be. People helping me thrive, right? But if you have, and let me back up really quickly. I can't say that still that those situations didn't intrude into my now 25-year relationship.
Right.
Because it does.
Right.
How people talk to you, how they touch you, if they poke you, or
Right.
many of those things can trigger memories from your childhood.
Right.
Right? But if you didn't have that support system, you're within...
You're more subjugated to what you grew up with directly in the home.
You normalize it more.
Right.
You say, this is what it is. This is how life is. I just have to get through it. And those are definitely the people who are not thriving, right? My study, I found that 1% of the people who are exposed to trauma that's the amount of people that are resilient post their trauma. Only 10% of people stated that their trauma didn't affect them. Okay, so those are small numbers when you're looking at like 360,000 people reported.
Yeah.
And this is reported. We're not even talking about the amounts of abuse that's not reported.
That's not reported, right?
Right? So it affects you profusely. It affects how you deal with people, how you understand. Again, it goes back to the protective factors, the things that you had to use as a child,
Right.
and how when you try and get into relationships, if you use those same things and you haven't been provided new tools to do something different, you're going to terrorize, for lack of a better word right now, those particular
I've done my share of
relationships.
terrorizing.
Yeah.
But
I hope that answered your question.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Hey, so look, what did you use like for when you went through stuff, right, in your life? For me, it sounds like to me you were talking about affirmations of positivity outside of the home, right?
Well, what I'm saying is that were you in extracurricular activities, right? Did you have friends' homes that you frequented during that time? Did you have an aunt or an uncle or a cousin or whomever who was outside of there showing you the love that you weren't getting inside of that adverse environment? Did you have a therapist? You know, a lot of those things.
For outlet.
For me, I guess we're gonna feel different, but I don't feel like we weren't loved. I just feel like there was so much other stuff built up that the problems that they had superseded everything that, right? But I never felt like I was abandoned or not loved, or even when we were getting in trouble and we thought things were too harsh or we felt abused, right? I always felt like, in my understanding of how I dealt with it was, all right, my parents are jacked up. So that's how I dealt with it. But I also was really good at sports. I've been 4.0 student my entire life. So I always got extracurricular activities for schools. I went on trips. I got, you remember.
But you were also the first boy. Okay?
Oh, so I got special treatment.
Yeah, you did. You did. Like, just think about how myself and our older sister, like, we didn't get that special treatment. We didn't. I couldn't, like...
See, I could never relate to that, though.
There were certain things I couldn't do, like put extra barrettes in my hair without there being an issue and, like, a full-out issue. So I think your perspective of it is different because you were actually treated different.
See, but I could never, again, these are conversations that we have, off the record that kind of helps me understand.
It's on the record today, sorry.
Well, but these are the conversations that we have. Like, I can't, and I think that's what helped me soften the way I deal with people, is because my idea of what trauma was and my idea of the solution only works for me. Right? I can't hold anybody else. Like, so I was going to ask you earlier, so, like, what kind of outlets did you use when you were going through?
For me as a kid, me growing up, our situation wasn't really ideal. Like, my brother and my sister grew up with my grandparents, and I grew up with my mom. And we saw our dad all the time, but they still grew up with my grandparents. So I kind of grew up, like, as an only child. So I was, like, very to myself. I would write. I was, like, just one of those kids that I'm going to go in a corner and just be to myself. Like, I feel like that was kind of, like, my coping mechanism. Like, when things, to me, weren't what they should be. And like you said, I never want to make it seem like, oh, my parents were bad or my grandparents are bad. But we have to look, they were humans just like we are. Like, I make mistakes. I do things, say things that are wrong. You know what I mean? Or might not be the right thing to say or the right thing to do. And being an adult now, I kind of can see it in a different light.
Exactly.
Looking at some of the things that they did, and I'm like, that's just adults gossiping. You know what I mean? Of course, if I'm at my grandparents' house and they talking, shit about my mom, I'm like, now I look at it, I kind of see how, I'm like, dang, adults are childish. Like, you know what I'm saying? You look at it differently now.
Adults are kids
Right.
and big bodies.
You know what I mean? Like, I look at it different now, but for me, I would just remove myself, you know?
That's the craziest thing when you think about, like, adults being children, because if we're talking about trauma and the way you grow up, and like you said, if you can stunt your growth, your mental growth at 8 years old, you're going to act like that your entire life if you don't get help.
Yeah, it's true.
Right.
My mind is blown already. Bro.
I mean,
No,
in my study, I had 7 women. I interviewed every one of them women myself, and then I had from South Africa, Great Britain, and here. What I did learn is trauma transcends. The fallout from trauma transcends. It doesn't. And my oldest was 97. My youngest was 29. And it transcends age. It has no respect of geographical location or demographics. It just doesn't care. And some of these women, they were in their 40s before they even sought help for their trauma, and they lived very hard lives up until that point.
Gosh.
That's
A lot
crazy.
of years.
What'd you deal with? How'd you deal with? If you had any trauma, I don't know.
I mean, we all do, right? Because our parents. I think that's what Steph was talking about. We have to understand that nobody's perfect, right? And you know, I know everybody here has some faith, right? And we understand that, you know, when it comes to the Bible, it says we all sin. So your parents, nobody's parents were perfect. So nobody had it all the way down pat. Whether if you had a 2-parent household or 1-parent household, those people are imperfect people, which then parent imperfect children, which you're going to see something, right? So I would challenge everybody to go back and look and see, okay, what things happened in my childhood that maybe are affecting how I react today, right? Because they are going to drive how you deal with your relationship. So for me, you know, with my dad, he grew up without his father. So he raised me and he did the best he could, and he's an amazing dad, but there were some things that he did not learn from his dad because he wasn't there, which did not get passed down to me. So as a man, you know, with me growing up, is like, hey, like, I need this, I need this, I need you to show me this, because I'm seeing all these other men, you know, in my community that have certain aspects, but he was only able to give me what he had. And that's what you're talking about, the tools,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So then I just think it's our responsibility as when we are having children and when we're passing down our knowledge to our generations, it's, okay, I didn't get this, I'm going to make sure you have it. So then when you have children, you just take whatever I didn't do, or take the good and leave the bad, and then make sure you do better for your children. And I think, but we have to have those conversations. We have to be open and honest. And and I did have those conversations. I had those conversations with my mom, I had the conversation with my dad, because both sides come from totally different families. They're blending together to then make their household, which sometimes you don't agree. And then I'm taking my values and meshing it with somebody else that came from totally different set of circumstances.
Right.
So I just think we have to be empathetic and understand that everybody comes from different backgrounds and nobody's perfect. And you have to have those conversations. Anybody that I talk to that's planning on getting married, I have that conversation. Before you get married, you need to ask your spouse how they grew up and what was their childhood like. And like you said, with the whole, you know, having people and having an outlet, who do you have intimate relationships with? Because if you tell me I'm not close to nobody, that's a red flag, because you are isolating yourself
From
And
everybody.
if you don't know, if you don't have good, healthy relationships, but you want to be in a relationship with me, what does that look like, right? Even asking the question, what does love look like? Because we think that everybody has the same definition of love because we only think from our perspective. My love could be totally different from Steph's love, could be totally different from Photo B's love, right? Because if you grew up in a house that was abusive, your picture of love looks different. Because it might have been fighting, and then the next day coming home with flowers, candy, I'm sorry.
Right.
Oh, that's love. No, that's not
No,
love.
it's not.
No, but your
crazy.
perception on love is based on how you grow up and who you are in love or have a relationship with. You have to ask the deep, what does love look like to you? What is your love language? How do you like to be loved? Can we get a foundation of what love is? Because if not, love is subjective to most people. So love means totally something different to you, to you, to you. And in order for you to be intimate and have a good relationship as far as getting married or being loved, you have to know what you're both talking about. Because
Right.
love could, to you might be that you get beat every single day, right?
Yes.
Come on.
Man, look, bro, you're making amazing points, because as you grow up, then you begin to, if you want to, I feel like it has to be a conscious effort to get better.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Right? You can't.
Yes.
It has to be. You have to purposely say, I'm going to develop like this, or I'm going to go back and explore explore what I went through. And I
Right.
think that's why her and I can have these conversations as adults.
Right.
Be it we don't see everything the same. And it's funny when I talk to her, or I talk to my other siblings, because none of us have the same story.
Right.
But we were all in the same damn house.
But different perspectives.
Right?
Different perspectives.
Right. Because I got, you know, my brother will say he did everything on his own. He never had the same love, and I'm like, damn, bro, that's not how I saw it.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
But how can I tell him how he felt?
Right.
Yeah, that's
You know what I
true.
mean? How can
because
how
then,
can I
like you
tell
said,
him?
love is different for everybody. You
Right.
know what I mean? So even if what was given to him was love to somebody else,
Mhm.
the way he received, that's not what he needed
Exactly.
to feel loved.
Right.
You know what I
To be
mean?
all right. To be all right.
Facts.
Hey, so
facts.
let me ask one more question before we go to the next. You brought up your father not having a dad,
Mhm.
right? So one of my questions is it sometimes, in your opinion, is it better to not have a father than to have an abusive father or an angry father, or is it not better to not have a mother, or have a mother that's there physically but she's destroying you mentally?
You know, it's unhealthy. Listen,
It's the lesser of two evils. Is
it's
really
the
what I'm
lesser
asking.
of two evils. I can't say what is better and what is not better.
Right.
What I can say that I wouldn't change my life. I wouldn't change a second of it because I don't believe I'd be who I am today.
Well, she's a doctor. It makes
Right.
lots of money.
So I can't stand you.
To the bag.
My,
I can't
my life,
stand you
my
right
life
now.
led me right to the bag.
I wouldn't have the bag I have
Today. No, but I mean, I wouldn't change it. So I think it's a matter of perspective. It's like it's always good to have a connected family, a family that is together, right?
Absolutely.
But let's be honest. Our father and my mother separated when I was 2, maybe 1.
I think you were 2. Rumor has it. I wasn't there.
No, you weren't.
There's 3 sides to every story.
There are 3 sides to every story.
The truth, the lie, and Ronnie.
One of these things is not like
Right.
Right.
And I did fine. Right. I did fine. I still had that support system. So although it wasn't a connected family and that they stayed together through me growing up, I'm doing great, and it was a learning experience. So I think it's a matter of perspective. Just to answer your question, I don't have an answer to say what is better and what's not better. What would be absolutely amazing is just to have a household that doesn't have parents who are abusing children and mentally.
Where?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean,
I said it would be great. I didn't say that it existed.
no, but I think what she's saying is that that's a subjective answer, right?
No.
Right.
Because Jay-Z, right? Jay-Z grew up and he didn't have a father, and he's a billionaire, right?
Yeah.
But to somebody else, to be a billionaire but then not have a childhood or to not have
Yeah.
your father involved and to not, and to have that level of resentment, because he talks about it a lot, that resentment he had towards his father, to somebody that may not be good. Just
Right.
because you're wealthy doesn't
Right.
mean that you're well off.
But
Listen.
Right.
would you rather cry in a Ferrari or a Honda?
I'd
Well-
rather not cry at all.
Right.
How
Exactly.
about
That's my point. Is that the trade-off was that I did not have my dad, but it motivated me to be successful.
Correct.
But at
Right.
what cost?
At what cost?
At what cost? Because can you put a value on a healthy childhood?
No, you cannot.
No, it's priceless. I was just laughing in my head because I'm like, yeah, she's like, I wouldn't trade my life for anything. I'm like, yeah, but you're a doctor. Now think about all the people who went through exactly what we went through and never did anything.
Right.
You know
But
what I mean? 'Cause
again,
again,
it depends on the
subjective.
circumstance, depends on the person, right? So
It does.
I
And it
wouldn't
depends
change my
on
life
if you
either.
And
put in that work.
I did good.
go ahead, Seth. I'm sorry.
No, it depends on if you, like she said, it's a work. You have to decide to be resilient versus
I
survive
had the.
it.
I actually.
Where'd you get the tools?
You-
Yeah, that's.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's so that goes into the next question.
There we go.
So for those who are listening and that are struggling with some sort of trauma, can you give them some direction on how to start their journey to healing, and what tools will they need?
Plug right now, so just go ahead and get
Go
rid
ahead.
of it.
Hey,
Go ahead and go to YouTube to Dr. Nickie on YouTube, and my mental health and healing series is there. We have one on emotional first aid for children, managing anger for positive change, and the most recent one was somatic work in trauma recovery. And if you don't know what somatic work is, it is basically healing your trauma through your body and not just your mind. And there's several other coming up. So if you want to stay in tune on how to get those tools for what I call putting it in your healing box, go ahead and check that out.
Okay.
But
that will be in the link.
Make sure you ring the bell.
That will be in the link. Yeah, I'm gonna ring the bell. I'm just making sure that
No, I
everybody
mean the
knows.
subscribe button.
So for those who ain't got a pen or paper that can write that down, it'll be in the description, in the link on YouTube, so that way you guys can get there. I'm sorry.
so my tools came from, like I said, I had an aunt and an uncle and my grandmother and other people who were just taking me in and loving me. And when I was what I felt like at my worst at the age of 7.5, running away from home, they didn't drop me. They held me and they said, okay, in spite of,
Right.
you're going to do something with yourself and do something with your life. And that's where I got the tools from. I got a different perspective on, you can't just shut down when something's wrong. And let's go ahead and just be 100. My husband, I said that God put him in my life at 15 years of age because he is a permanent protective factor. I was a very passive person. I wanted to make everybody happy. I wanted to see people happy.
Not
I didn't
anymore.
want to see them argue. I didn't want it, when people would wrong me, I just forgive them and come back and not talk about it like nothing happened. And then one day he said to me, enough is enough. You're not going to do this anymore. So you can go ahead and thank him later today for
I already shouted him out.
for this situation right here, because people be like, oh, you've changed. Yeah, I've changed. I'm not going
She's
to.
kind of a jerk sometimes now.
I'm not going to accept, I'm not going to accept the things that you're doing, and I'm not going to lay blame on me, because I was willing to take the blame, right? I had to be in my late 20s, early 30s when I just finally realized that you can protect yourself and love people from a distance.
Boundaries.
Setting major boundaries, right? So that's where my tools came from. My tools came from just my family members who were like, okay, we're going to love you through this. And I was in extracurricular activities. I was in choir. I did theater. I did a lot of things just to keep my mind motivated. And as an adult, people be like, oh, you do so much. You run this business and that business. You do this and you do that. You don't understand that if I didn't have all of those things, you'd be looking at a total mess, because my mind has to intentionally, I have to do something to block out intrusions that might come in.
You know what's crazy is that she talks to her story about how getting out helped her to not be the shutdown person. Bro, I was the shutdown guy till like 5 years ago.
Got it.
I would definitely, because our experience is different.
Right. So you're saying that, from what I'm trying to just kind of understand, the best tool is to trust community.
Trust, like I just posted something and it said connect to your community for tools, because the best tools to help you thrive are in your community. They're going to give you something tangible.
Right.
You can't do this by yourself.
Right.
You because we go in and we continue to stack and suppress because we don't believe that we have anybody to talk to.
Got it. Yeah.
Build your community.
Build your community. Trust your village.
Correct.
It's
Right.
got to be a good village.
And if there's, I got to listen. I was about to say, and if
good
there are
village.
horrible people in that village, please make them get out.
Well, you know what? But I think the point is that you can pick your village.
You can.
facts.
So family,
Absolutely,
you can't pick your
facts.
family, but you can pick your village. So for those that are listening, very wise words and very much needed words in a time of healing, that if you are dealing with trauma, or even if you don't think you're dealing with trauma, still seek the healing, because there may be some underlining issues that you're dealing with that you just haven't been in the situation to be triggered at. So trust your community, Black people, we got to stop saying what happens in my house stays in my house.
Facts.
You need to
Facts.
do the work. So go seek therapy, psychologists. We have multiple avenues with the internet now. I know she just plugged her YouTube page that has plenty of free videos that they can watch, and you can get some more information, and that will help you put more tools in your toolbox. So we definitely want to thank you for all those, and it's free. This was like a therapy session.
Just one more
For me,
thing.
it was.
Go ahead.
I believe in early prevention. So when I say early prevention, I believe that if your children are going through something and you see a behavior, do not just address the behavior. Try to find out why that child is behaving that way. Because 9 times out of 10, there's an underlying reason, something that happened, something they saw, something they don't understand, and they don't know how to express
What it is. Yes.
So early prevention, early intervention, etc.
Right.
Whatever.
And you
Just
talk
do
about
it.
that in your first aid for children video,
I
right?
do, yes.
See? There you go. See?
Yeah.
I was listening.
Yes.
This is really good. Thank you very much.
Bro, this is fire.
Are you going to stay for the rest of the episode? She
I
gonna
don't know
stay.
Look, I could barely breathe to get the answer out, but I guess so.
No, you going to stay. Because with this next topic that we're going to talk about that everybody's been waiting for us to talk about,
Oh,
we're
we
going to
got-
need some professional.
we not one gotta go?
No, we are.
Oh,
We are.
I got
So-
one.
Okay.
Let's
no,
do
we are.
it.
We
Oh,
are.
okay. I
So,
was making
so,
sure.
so every guest we have, just to kind of lighten the mood up a little bit, we play One's Gotta Go. So Steph is going to give you the One's Gotta Go, and we're going to see if this goes a little bit better than last time. 'Cause last time I almost went off on everybody.
I feel like it shouldn't be that bad. So I figured since we were talking about childhood trauma, that we would do a one gotta go on childhood movies.
Oh.
So one gotta go out of Lion King, A Goofy Movie, Toy Story, and Aladdin.
Oh, my gosh, Steph.
Hey,
That's
That's
a
our
hard
whole
cutting you out.
childhood.
Are you
That's
serious?
how you out of
Wait a
this.
minute.
That's
Whoa.
hard.
That's our
So-
whole childhood.
Say it
Lion
again.
King.
Lion King, A Goofy Movie, Toy Story, and Aladdin.
Okay,
One
so I
gotta
can
go.
tell you right now, I can live without Toy Story and all the 5 episodes that exist. I can tell you that right now.
Oh, my gosh.
I can. Like, Goofy is classic.
Yes.
Aladdin's classic. Lion King's classic. Like, and Toy Story,
Toy Story was lit though.
eh.
You got a friend in
In
me.
me. Iconic. Okay.
Because, like, nobody needs 5 series of, like, a
Toy Story. I
cowboy.
got
Like,
you. I got you.
nobody needs all that.
It's 4 of them, but
Okay, 4, 5. Okay, so that's how you. That's another reason why you know it can go, because I don't even know how many is.
Oh, man.
Aladdin can't go nowhere.
They
That's my
can't.
favorite.
They
Aladdin
cannot.
can.
No, they nah.
Aladdin,
Reject.
hey, she said what she said.
Out of
She
the
said
4,
Toy Story.
Out of the 4, Aladdin can go.
Are you serious right now?
I mean, that ass. I'm gonna tell you.
whole new world.
Exactly.
I'm gonna tell y'all why.
That's
Right?
where
I
we'll
can't.
be.
Aw.
Oh, so
Stop
cute.
looking at me like that, Steph. Check it out,
You be thinking you know people until this game.
bro.
For real.
Hey, I am the most hated in this game. Apparently. But
Apparently.
anyway, anyway, I can't get rid of Toy Story because when it comes to like Andy and his grow up, like
You got sentiments?
Really?
we pretty much graduated high school at the same time.
And I didn't even need to see him graduate college either. I'm sure that's coming next, and we can pass.
Nah, I think
What about
they're
you?
done with
There's
Andy.
there's not a good answer.
What about you?
There's not a
There is-
good
there
There
is
is a good answer.
No,
Toy
it's
Story.
What about?
It was what? I'm sorry. It was Lion King.
A Goofy Movie,
A Goofy
Toy
movie.
Story, Aladdin.
A Goofy movie definitely can't go.
Can't.
Oh, I
That
thought he
was
was about.
like-
Ooh, I thought he was about to say Goofy. I was about to
No,
get up and walk
Can't
out.
go. That was like
Can't
our
go.
first black Disney movie.
Yes.
Like, for real.
Come on, Tevin
Tevin
Campbell.
Campbell,
with the
let's
music.
go.
It was supposed to be Bobby Brown.
Y'all
but-
racist.
It was supposed to be Bobby. Yeah, it was supposed to be Bobby. You're right. It was
Supposed
supposed
to
to
be
be
Y'all
Bobby.
racist.
Uh,
go because it was a black movie.
So that means you about to pick Goof Troop. If you do,
Listen,
I'm not. I'm not picking them.
the internet's gonna
I'm-
come for you. For
I,
real.
look,
for real.
I'm not Terry
I'm gonna
Crews.
come for
I
you.
know when to go on the right time.
all right, that's what's
Hey,
up.
man. So Aladdin, Lion King, or Toy Story? That's really what the question is. Lion King can't go.
No.
It's really Aladdin or Toy Story.
Well, it's because they were from Africa. It's kind of a black movie.
It is.
Can't let Lion
No,
King
it's not
go.
kinda. It is a black movie.
It-
It is. It was in Africa.
Mufasa.
Say it again.
You can't.
You know what?
I can't even believe
I'm
you're
about to go
stuck.
with Aladdin.
Are you
Thank you,
serious
I
right
seen
now?
it.
I'm about to go with Aladdin.
No.
I seen
I
it.
have to go with Aladdin.
You on my side.
I have to. I have to. Even though I love Robin Williams, it was only one movie.
Out of
Toy
all of
Story
them?
has repeated their success.
And that is the problem.
Okay.
What do you
wait,
mean,
wait,
what
wait,
movie?
wait.
And
Aladdin
the
had-
Return of
Aladdin
Jafar.
had a
Yeah, I was
total-
about to say they have.
They had
yeah.
a total
Who watched
of
Return of
whole-
Jafar?
They have a
I
whole
did
series.
right
Was
here.
it good?
Yes,
Yes.
it was.
No, it wasn't.
Thank you. Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
What
What is his
about
problem?
Aladdin
No,
and
it
the King of Thieves?
What is his problem? That part too. Thank you. Thank you for assist.
Hey,
I'm just
Thank
saying.
you
I'm
for
gonna bring
the
it
Hey,
up.
you know what?
But they all
Look.
went straight to DVD.
But
And so what? That means that I could automatically enjoy them from the comfort of my
Yo.
home and not be crowded and surrounded by a whole bunch of.
That shit said
I will
coming to
say this.
DVD.
I will say
droppers.
this. I will say this. The Aladdin video game was fire.
Yes.
Aladdin and Lion King video game was fire. Y'all looking at me
Fire.
crazy,
Yeah,
but the
yeah.
internet's
I was
gonna
Aladdin
agree with me
one,
on
yeah.
that. I'm still gonna go with Aladdin.
I'm actually gonna go with Aladdin too.
Are you kidding me right now? We can't be related anymore.
I hate joining and I hate agreeing with him. I hate agreeing with him.
You got to.
I purpose in my heart
Steph
every
was so
other
hurt.
weekend. I purpose in my heart to not agree with Rob. To not
Then
agree
you
with
should have done it
Focus.
today.
No, because
You should have made your next move your best move,
It was
and
the
that
right
was
answer.
not
Listen,
it.
Hey, hold on.
this is why I don't
Hold
like
on.
agreeing with
Hold
him.
on.
He gotta be real with himself.
Hey, but look,
Right answer.
look. I don't care about a blue genie.
I don't either.
I don't care.
And Will Smith
How
ruined it
could
for me. I'm
you?
sorry.
I just watched that one, and it was
Oh,
actually
oh.
a good
You'll
movie.
find
Knock
any
it
reason
off.
to get on Will
Knock
Smith
it
head
off.
today.
Aladdin
It was
movie? The new
actually
Aladdin movie?
yes, it was.
No.
It was good.
No.
It was.
You like the new Lion King movie too, didn't you?
No, I didn't watch that one.
That one wasn't good.
That
for
was
sure.
trash.
Okay, what's
I
your
didn't
pick?
watch it.
Go ahead.
Aladdin movie? No.
Lion King. I mean, if we talking childhood trauma, it don't get more traumatic than Lion King,
King.
honestly.
Word.
Facts.
But it is a classic.
Dad, wake up.
No. Honestly, I'm gonna have to go with Toy Story too.
Okay, I can see that.
I'm gonna have to go with Toy Story.
I can see it.
Girls
So
versus
two
guys,
stories.
it's fine.
2 Toy Stories and 3
Say it again.
Aladdins. 2 Toy Stories.
Hey, say toy
Say that
boat.
5 times.
No, say
Say that
toy
5
boat
times
3
fast.
times.
Two toy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Toy Story. I'm with you. Even though I love Toy Story, but
I've got bored with Toy Story. Legit. Like,
I love the
didn't care.
storyline.
Her
behind
childhood
it.
was
Was
jacked
dope.
up. She never played with toys.
I did play. You a lie. A
Hey,
lie.
it had me kind of.
Like,
You
that's
know,
why I
I
can't
always thought my
relate
toys was moving.
I can't relate
Yeah.
to toys.
Well, and I like that it helped me connect with my with my child. When we watched it, it was, that was a, yeah.
Your
Anyway.
nephew would actually kill me because he probably wouldn't do Toy Story because he does plushies, right?
Oh.
But at night, he turns them all around facing the other way.
Come on.
I knew that was coming.
I walked in one day. I said, "Son, why are your plushies?" And he has a ton of them because he does stop animation, so he has a ton of them. And I said, "Why are they all facing the wrong way?"
You were traumatized.
He said, "Because I don't want them watching me sleep."
Toy Story, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And he's never seen Toy Story a day in his life.
They were securing the door.
Hey, you know what? I was kind of traumatized when I learned that Black Panther was basically the same storyline as Lion King.
Yeah, two cats, bro.
Yeah.
Dead giveaway.
Not 2 cats. The storyline,
The
not
story-
the characters.
But that's what I'm saying, though. The storylines are the same. They also use the Lion King and Black Panther, bro. Every time you talk about black people, they want to talk about a cat.
No, it's the
Africa.
same thing.
They always want to make it Africa. They always want to make it.
Father died. He had to.
Hey, help yourself, bro. Hey, why don't you bring everybody a round of those, huh?
All right.
Where we going next? Come on, Rob. Take us there.
Speaking of traumatized.
You see how G Focus took a shot at Will already? Plus, Will Smith can go in that Aladdin movie.
Already. You got a lot against Will, because, come on now. I'm noticing.
Will
you
Smith.
got some animosity towards
right
Will
now.
Smith.
I'm gonna let y'all know
Look.
right now. I will not allow any Will Smith slander. I've been a Will Smith fan since 5 years
I've
old.
been getting
That
jiggy
part.
with it since the song came
That
out.
part.
Right.
Facts.
Well,
I
We
used to look
can
up to
get
Will
jiggy with
Smith
it.
because we had the same
Hey.
first name.
I love Will.
Well,
Willard?
I didn't
Your
like
first name's
Will.
Willard?
I said that well.
Hey, give him the
Will.
womp, womp, womp,
Yeah.
womp.
I
No. What part of I do not accept any
Will
slander?
slander. Well, you might not like this next topic. So,
Gotta fight somebody.
I think it's going to be Raggio. All right. Now to the main event that everybody's been waiting for. The highly anticipated subject that everybody's been talking about on Facebook.
What that is.
Jada Pinkett Smith versus August Alsina.
Jada Pinkett Smith, Alcina?
Yes. So we got to give some backgrounds because, you know, some people have not been on the internet, don't know what's going on. So for years, obviously, Will and Jada have been rumored to have an open marriage. It's been off and on, right? Different women, different men. And as of recently, August Alsina was on an interview with Angela Yee where he
Was snitching.
spilled the beans
Tekashi 6ix9ine.
and told everybody that he was in a relationship with Jada. After that, Jada obviously denied it.
Mm-hmm.
Will Smith denied it.
Mm-hmm.
And then August Alsina doubled down and said, I said what I said. And he said, I'm speaking to my truth. So, react. What do we think?
You guys know what I think.
Go ahead.
Go on.
I guess Alcina took a page out of Tekashi's book. And he came on there snitching. And I feel like he should have played his role as a side piece. Like I've said before on Facebook, and like I've said to you guys many times, that dude's a sucker. If you enter into an agreement with a man and his wife, you get the man's blessing to have sex with the wife, not just any wife, but Jada Pinkett Smith Alcina. You know what I'm saying? Not just anybody's wife. But if you get a chance to be with Jada Pinkett on a sexual level, right? And everybody's cool with it. You get to hang out with Willow and Jaden. You're going on family vacations. You're on a yacht. You're on
Everybody
a cruise.
forgets about the older son, but continue.
Right.
hey, he's unaccomplished. So he doesn't count as celebrity. But when a man allows you to come in and smash not just his wife, but Jada, right? You got Tupac leftovers, bruh. You get to do things that other people never get to. All you have to do is play your side nigga position. Side nigga position. There are rules. Shut the fuck up. Smash my wife. And keep it pushing. Don't come out dropping no gems talking about I'm hurt and I'm mad and I'm sad about everything because you got a clothing line coming out, because you got an album coming out, and all of a sudden you need press because you have been obsolete for 4 or 5 years? Come on, bruh. He's a sucker. I said what I said. Like he said what he said. I'm sticking to it.
Terrible.
Totally disagree. But all right.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Steph.
Oh, now I gotta go.
Well, usually we go this way, but he jumped the line. So
I
yeah.
mean, cause he
He
felt
felt
really
the way.
strongly.
He was jumping.
I
in
knew
the
he
seat.
felt strongly.
He was
Still
jumping in the
bouncing
seat.
around. He still can't stop moving.
I can't, bro. He's a sucker.
He's like, I get to talk about this again.
I don't know. I don't know if I would say he's a sucker, but I feel like, I mean, he's a sucker. I guess. I don't know another word to put it. It's just, my thing is, you should not enter into a relationship with somebody that is married and have any expectations at all other than to be in a relationship with somebody that is
It's
married,
married.
bro. Like, there is no other way to break it down. It's wrong. And not to say that she's completely innocent because she just is wrong. You know what I mean? But as an adult person, I have the choice whether to enter into this. And that's why I say you have responsibility too. You might not have responsibility to her husband, but you have responsibility to yourself. This is your decision that you are making. And you can't come out now, I was hurt or I was lied to or I believe that she was going to leave. If that's what you believed and that's why you hurt, that's your bad.
That's
you
your
decided to enter into somebody else's relationship. So I'm not surprised that you got hurt.
As a third wheel, you wanted to make the bicycle a tricycle. And there you go. There can only be 2 wheels in the back, bro. Only 2 of them are side by side. You know what I'm saying? it's beyond me. It's beyond me it's beyond me the rationale, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, I what do you think, man? This is a sucker, but
I agree. You are a grown ass man. You made a grown ass man decision, and you have to deal with the grown ass man decision consequences of your feelings possibly being hurt because you had expectations that were unrealistic out the gate.
I bet you he wasn't crying when he was hitting it.
Maybe tears of joy.
Tears of joy.
Jada's a new Erica, huh? Erica Badu.
Tears of joy. Oh my God, I'm in it. Oh.
You are so dumb.
I bet you he didn't make a song about it.
I bet you he did. Photo B.
What?
We all know how much you love Will Smith.
Yeah.
Hey,
What are your thoughts?
Hey, how much accountability does Will take for this, bro?
Well, hold on. Let's get his thoughts because he's not gonna say that Will has any accountability.
Nah, he's
Right.
You facts. I'm not. But like, no, like, I mean, yeah, you should have just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. What did she say?
Shut the fuck up.
No, because it's like, dude, like, one, you're living out a fantasy.
Facts.
You're living out a fantasy.
This is a privileged life you have.
Facts. You are enjoying the life. You're enjoying another man's life
Whoa.
while this man said, here, you can't.
Where does that happen at?
Nowhere.
I mean, maybe a regular chick, but not Jada.
Right. But at the same time, though, too, it's like we have no idea what was said behind closed doors. We had no idea what the expectations was. We don't know what was said otherwise. You know, we can't really say who's to blame for anything. We just know that somebody was fucking somebody who probably shouldn't have been fucking anybody.
Come on.
That part.
This is a podcast, BJ. We can say somebody's to blame all we want.
But this is why you don't mess with married
It's not
people, bro.
You just don't.
That's the lesson that should be learned.
Was she married?
Was she married?
Oh
Is
my.
she married?
What is it? Technicality?
Are they married?
Are they married?
Are they
Yes.
life partners?
They're life partners.
What's the definition?
Are they
Is it
roommates?
life- is
Are
it
they
life part-
co-workers? What are they?
Isn't life? They are
Yeah,
definitely
they
co-workers.
co-workers.
But isn't life partners the equivalent of being married?
No,
Yes, it is.
no.
Don't you claim each other on your
Can
taxes?
you be a life partner and not be married? Yes.
You can.
Can you be married and not be a life partner? Yes.
Sure.
But
you
they
can.
are married still. I don't give
They
a
are
damn what
married
they
on
calling
paper.
it. They're married and they're in a situation that you come into. It's established, and you know that for a
And it's been
fact.
established for years.
So you
Come
play your
on.
sideline role.
Right.
You're a field goal kicker. We scored a touchdown. You kick the field goal. We need 3 points. We're in overtime. Will's having a bad day. Caught the flu. August, here you go. This is your role, bro. This is your job.
game.
This is your
Right.
job. This is your job.
Talking about Will and August, their womb mates.
You know what we You know what we do with kickers who want to play quarterback? We trade them.
And I'm not agreeing with. I don't know what Will and Jada's relationship. I'm not agreeing with. No, I'm saying I'm not agreeing with what they're doing.
Here we go.
I'm not saying that's how marriage should be. But that's their marriage, and if you decided to come into that type of situation, you knew what it was. It's
Right.
not my ideal marriage. You
Right.
know what I mean?
But if they like it, I love it.
Right. And you entered into it and you knew what it was.
And you loved it too. So
Until it didn't work
for
you
3
no more.
years or whatever, however
Well,
long.
you
And-
loved it
and-
until you didn't love it no more.
Are we assuming that Jada is the one that cut it off?
No.
Well,
That's kind of what it sounds
That's
like.
a good question.
yeah.
that is a good
So
question.
there's, you know,
You think?
Wow.
Wait,
this is first. Let me give my stance. Okay, I'm gonna cape for August Alsina since ain't nobody else caping for him. So I think they're both wrong, right? Jada's
know
wrong for
that.
allowing him in. August is wrong for thinking that it can go further than what it is. But what I feel like is when they met, he was 22 years old. He was going through a lot. He admitted on his docuseries once he dropped his album that he was molested, that he was dealing with the liver disease, that he was also dealing with issues with his mother, and he was also going blind. So I think that whole healing thing that they were saying that she helped him out with, I think that was honest at the beginning, and I think it developed into something deeper, obviously.
That Marvin Gaye type
That-
sexual
that
healing.
sexual healing. Whatever. All right. So what I think is because on Twitter they've been coming for Jada, calling her a predator because of his age and what he was going through, and I feel like she does have responsibility as far as what it ended up being, with him saying what he said in his interview in the docuseries and his music, namely the Nunya song that he did with
Kehlani.
Kalani.
Oh, yeah, was it Kehlani?
Yeah, it was Kalani.
Yeah.
He in the verse is basically saying, "Why are you texting me? Why are you hitting me up? Why are you asking me who I'm having sex with?" And in the video, he's texting a woman named Corin. Corin happens to be Jada Pinkett's middle name, so it's kind of a little. He's telling his truth in different
So
ways.
he's still snitching.
He's not snitching.
Oh,
He's telling
my
the truth.
God,
Okay, here we
This
go.
song came out a
Here we
long
go.
time ago,
All right,
too.
hold on. So what I'm saying is that I don't think that per se that he's the one that she's the one that broke it off. I think this is what happened. I think that they became healing. They got into a relationship. I think August wanted more from Jada. Jada could not give him more. So then he broke it off, and he says in his docuseries that after his sister died, he broke off a relationship, that he was madly in love with somebody. He broke it off then. So I think he broke it off. Jada was trying to get him back. Whatever, they decided not to deal with it, and now he's at his place he at now. Obviously, he's telling his
Bro,
truth.
what is this that you're talking about?
You said Jada wanted him back.
Bro, what happened was Will
What I'm
was
saying
like,
from-
enough. That's what happened.
You think Will put his foot down after
bro,
giving his blessing?
Yeah.
I
Will,
don't know
Big
about
Willie
that.
giveth,
I think
and
Will was
Willard
doing-
take it
But there's
away.
no
I think
evidence
Will
of
was
that.
doing his own thing. I don't think he was worried about it.
Now he
I
had
really
Margot
don't.
Robbie.
Facts.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. We gotta say
Allegedly.
allegedly here. We got to say allegedly.
Allegedly, but what we do know is that I'm not gonna make all his trauma make it okay for him to turn around and then throw everything under the bus. I'm not gonna make that. Play your position. You're a grown man. You made a decision. You ate the fruits of the tree, right? You went on the vacations, nigga. You played with the kids. You were Uncle August, okay? These are the
Was
things.
he uncle?
Well,
Or what? Or
Stepdaddy.
Was, or
Stepdaddy
was the
August.
was the
Stepdaddy.
role presented to be something else?
It doesn't matter what the role is presented to be. You want to talk about the intricacies of the paperwork. Now let's talk about that. Let's talk about NDNA. I'm pretty sure he didn't say anything initially because he couldn't, right? I'm pretty sure that there was a non-disclosure agreement because they're smart enough to do that.
Yeah, I don't think
3-year
they're that
NDA?
damn stupid.
Huh?
I don't think-
Yeah,
three-year
3 to
NDA?
5 year makes sense.
You wouldn't have one that you can't talk about this ever?
Man, it doesn't. I mean, it's still gonna be rumored, right? So it's rumored. So now August can say whatever he wants, and then she turns around and say it didn't happen. And you know, Will's gonna say, "You're right, it didn't happen."
Right, but if he signed the NDA, would he not be able to speak about it? I know when I signed the NDA, it was not a time frame. It was you can't talk about this
But
ever.
that's how you wrote your contract. We don't know what their contract.
But you just said they were
specified.
smart enough to do it.
They would. I feel like, and that's why I'm just kind of confused. I'm like, I know they would have an NDA,
Bro, he's
in
right.
all these years of the
Come on.
rumors, there's never
Come on,
been
bro.
nobody else
Ever
that
do
came
that?
out and
Who's
said
came out
nothing.
and said anything.
First off, he's in love with someone who's married. That's enough to make you do some sucker shit like break an NDA and take a lawsuit. Plus,
quick.
you know
So
what?
you
Real
would-
quick, especially if the money that you're gonna make
Off
promoting
the album and your new clothing line
could pay off that lawsuit and you be
makes
straight.
sense. Come on, bro. Bro, he had the best job in the world.
So you would call somebody to tell them that I'm going to break the NDA?
Yeah, that's the only reason why he had to call. That's why he had
Legally
to call.
binding.
Just and who's to say that Will and Jada agreed to him going online and talking about it?
And who's to say that there was an NDA? Because
Right.
we're
Yeah,
just
that's what I don't think
assuming.
there was.
No, but I'm saying, and that's my thing of why. How are we really believing that they had an agreement and all these different things? They would have had an NDA in place if this was true. I do
Correct.
not believe that it was some big agreement and Will was on board and they got an open marriage or whatever. If she cheated, she cheated. But I feel like if this was really concocted and they have these type of relationships, there would have been an NDA, and he wouldn't be able to say nothing
Because there's so much
At all.
money
at
attached
all.
to their business.
I just
bro. They're
don't.
not-
You can't convince me
They're
that they
just
would
not a-
just be like, "Oh, I'm gonna be in a side relationship and not have an NDA."
Right, but then I would also say, though, if they did, or if what you're saying is saying that if he did not have an NDA, that it wouldn't be there, then why, to me, it's extremely odd for August to be going on family vacations with Will not present, with him just going with Jada and the kids.
Bro, he said he had his blessing.
I
No.
don't believe it.
She's saying that she doesn't believe that.
I wouldn't, not without an NDA. I'm sorry, I don't believe that.
Well, the
or
NDA,
maybe it was just a innocent friendship.
It could have been. That's what I believe it really
Because
was.
maybe it was an innocent friendship, and when he couldn't go, August did go.
Not
I
with those
mean,
pictures.
like, and
not with those pictures. They
look booed up.
was definitely humping. For sure, somebody was humping.
Ella May was bumping in the background.
And let's just keep it even further a buck. NDA doesn't matter or not, because those are intricacies that we don't even need to worry about. But what we are talking about is
I'm saying what makes it not believable for me.
Oh, yeah,
that's
okay.
what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah,
So what makes this whole thing a travesty for me is you had the dream job. Put me in the game, coach. You know what? Our star quarterback is feeling sick today. August, we need you to go ahead and run the team. Okay? Do your job, bro. As a grown man, you made a grown man decision. I don't want to hear, like you said earlier, Twitter is talking about Jada being predatory and being manipulative and preying on his weaknesses and his vulnerabilities. No one told him to stick his penis inside of her, bro.
But also, nobody knows where he was in the process during that 3 years. How can you say, okay, just because she's older and he was younger, that she was a predator? Older and younger people get in relationships all the time.
Yeah.
And how many times?
Or because he was blind and he was
Well,
on drugs.
He was in a very vulnerable place, and that's the whole point of it. You can roll your eyes all you want. So the question that I have, that I've asked earlier, and I'm going to ask it again.
Fine.
If
Ask
the
it.
roles were reversed, would we be saying the same exact thing?
Yes.
No.
No.
Hell no.
If the roles were reversed, if it was a girl it's a girl that came
We wouldn't
out
be
and-
having the conversation.
No, well, yeah. The media attention around it wouldn't be the same. But no, absolutely not.
We wouldn't be having this in-depth conversation about if it was a woman. It would just be another side chick.
Superhead was the last
Another,
one.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody would care this deeply.
So with the Me Too movement and all that's going on in society, with the
When's the last time you heard
with
from
the
the Me Too?
with the Russell Simmons thing is going on right now, is definitely being talked about.
But it's not
And
being
it's
talked
the
about
but
like
how-
August Alsina.
But how are
Oh.
we correlating those two? Because those have to do with sexual assault. And
People
in
that
this
against
case,
people's will.
Against people's will. And in this case, he willingly, as an adult,
Right.
making adult decisions, decided to
Not as
participate.
Right.
17,
And-
just turned 18.
Right.
But an actual
No.
full-on adult.
And so the context of what I'm saying is it's the power dynamic that people are bringing up. That if you have a Russell Simmons in the room, that if you are an impressionable model, if he does do something or say something to you, that more times than not, you're not going to say something against him because you're going to believe Russell Simmons over the person that you're talking about because of who they are. And I think it's the same thing here. What I'm saying is that with the August and Jada, if it's August's word versus Jada's word, who are you going to believe?
Clearly, nobody's really sure who they're going to believe.
It sounds like we do know who they're going to
I'm
believe.
gonna believe
it sounds
August.
like it's Jada.
I'm gonna believe August Alsina.
Well,
I
how
didn't
is
even
that
say
when they're
that.
calling her a predator? So not
And
everybody
I didn't,
is right.
yeah, and I
In
even
general-
said that
I
I
believe
didn't say that
August
she didn't
Alsina.
cheat with him or sleep with him. I'm saying I don't believe that it was like this whole concocted, all of that extra
Well, they
stuff.
tried to
But
make
I
it-
didn't say that I didn't believe that he slept with her. I
Right.
didn't say that.
No, yeah, I'm not saying
I
that.
believe that.
I'm not saying that. I'm
Bro,
just
did you
saying.
see the conviction in the in the interview? He said, "If I die today, I know that I truly love someone and I gave him my all."
Yeah,
that's
and-
not a nigga who didn't do it.
Slept with her.
So sleep
Yeah,
with her.
right. And I don't think anybody. Well, I'm not refuting that. I think they did, obviously, to me. But I think that what I was saying before is if the roles were reversed, and if it was a man doing it to a woman, again, that whole Me Too movement, the feminist movement, all of them would be saying, "Oh, it was him manipulating. It was him taking advantage of. It was him using his power for his advantage." That conversation happens more often than maybe we want to admit, but it does. And we talk about it in the workplace. We talk about it in music. We talk about it in fashion. All the time,
Yeah,
where
but-
people
but
use their
when-
power to be able to suppress the other person. Because that's what the two accusers were saying with the whole Russell Simmons thing. They were saying that our voices have not been heard because of who we are accusing. And I'm not saying that. I'm saying that August is accusing Jada, because obviously that was.
You're victimizing
No,
him.
When did I say that August?
You're
is,
making
Because
all
you're
these
making-
excuses
'cause
about
he
him being
didn't say
vulnerable.
these things.
You
You're
said
saying
those
these
things.
When did I say August is accusing Jada of being a predator. When did I say that?
I said you
are
accusing
putting
her.
him in a victim position.
When
He
did
never.
I say
I mean,
that?
at a
when
time.
when
When you said
when
that
you're
he was
using the
one at
when
a
you
time.
I'm sorry, but when you're using the examples
One
of
at a
the
time
Me
is
Too
Power move,
and,
power
and,
dynamic.
power dynamics,
Yes.
right? However, if it is a mutual situation, which it seems that this was, I don't see how that applies. We're trying to apply two different things to two different situations, apples to oranges. He consented. Many of the people in the Me Too's did not consent.
Some of them have.
Okay, so but
And they're saying that it's because of the power. Because if you are a manager and I'm a worker, and if you say if I don't sleep with you, then I'm going to fire you, and if you agree to sleep, that's consensual, but it's inappropriate. Correct?
But what power does she have over
right,
him?
that is the question.
Because she's Jada Pinkett Smith.
Come on, bro.
on now.
Come on, dog.
Did she not? Okay, so this is the Jada Pinkett Smith that had Jordan Woods on her Red Table Talk, and they went against Kim Kardashian and her people, right?
Okay.
Because at first it was Jordan Woods was about to get bombarded. They were getting the media attacks. And what happened? That changed when she was on what? On Red Table Talk, correct? So
Okay.
that Jada Pinkett does not have power in our media today?
Bro.
Does Will Smith
But
not have power in
that
our
is
media
a-
But
today?
what was
are you
Jada doing
talking
to
about?
him?
What does
Right.
that have to do with
That-
him?
He
We're
didn't
talking
work.
about
He didn't
Jada
work
being
for her.
accused of
She
predator.
wasn't employing him
Right.
or anything.
I'm
They
arguing a power
entered into.
dynamic.
There
They
wasn't-
We're not saying.
But power
apples- I'm
You-
not
she doesn't
comparing
have
the situation.
power
She
over
doesn't
him.
have power
Does.
over him. No.
How?
They entered into a friendship. A friendship is equal. There
So
is
you're
no,
saying he was forced
You
to
know what the-
sleep
you
with
know-
her
you
and
know
be
what the
with her
power-
because
you know what
she's
the
above
power-
him and she could have
No.
ended his
You know where the
career?
power dynamic would have came in? That nigga would have never said nothing publicly. That's where that power from Jada and Will would come
Correct.
in. That it would have
He
kept
ain't
it would have
scared.
kept him silent.
Yeah, he ain't scared of them.
He made adult decisions, bro.
Right.
You make adult decisions, you live adult results.
But what's
To-
the narrative now, though?
the-
Is that he should have stayed quiet, right?
The narrative.
no. The narrative.
No,
I'm sorry.
No, my narrative,
narrative.
yeah, my narrative is if you enter into these agreements and you enter into a situation where the people are already married, already established, you know your role, you know your role, and yes, he should have stayed quiet, but he didn't because he has a clothing line coming out that you can buy a pair of trunks or you can buy a T-shirt and you get a free August Alsina CD. Now he has the album coming out, okay. Is this coincidental? Like like we talked about Kanye last week. We said that Kanye was gonna drop something big when he started doing political activism for Black people, and he sure in the hell had a deal signed with Gap, right? We know that Kanye only moves when it's advantageous to him. This is, to me, this looks exactly the same. That's why I call him a sucker. Because if you really, 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 truly in your heart felt like you had to tell your story and to be heard, it wouldn't come with a complimentary album with your new clothing line. And it wouldn't come with that's not a part of healing, bro. That's a part of making financial progress out of your pain. You're trying to sell a story against two of the most prolific people in Black culture, okay? The quote unquote relationship, marriage, goals couple, right? So you have everything negative to say about them. At the same time, you're trying to monetize destroying their relationship.
He's not destroying their
He's
relationship
try-
because they were doing it. So Jada and Will were doing it. So when Jada and Will do it, it's not destroying their relationship.
Bro.
But when I speak on it, it's destroying their relationship.
Yes, because they're gonna say if they didn't feel that way, then they would have been like, yeah, my wife was fucking August and I let her.
because they're lying about it.
Why are they lying?
Because
Because-
they want to protect their image, and they don't want people to perceive them as that certain way.
That's exactly-
so the same way. So the same
Ain't that
way.
what everybody
hold
do?
on. So the
Right.
the same way that you're saying that that he shouldn't have said anything, that he shouldn't be talking, blah 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 blah. We had a conversation off air that you said that even if he wasn't selling anything, he shouldn't have said nothing. So don't tie that to that.
No, but it is. That's the
No,
reality of what
but
it
don't
is.
tie it.
That's the
You don't want
reality
him
of what it
talking at
is.
all.
Because that's not your position to talk.
It is.
at,
He
bro.
was in it.
Bro. He's absolutely on some sucker shit, dog.
So you're telling him to shut up.
Yes.
All because he
Yes.
slept with. Because
Yes,
who
I'm
he slept
telling
with.
Shut up and make music.
No,
Because with who he slept with.
No, because he slept with somebody that's married.
Because
Because of
That
who he slept
part.
with.
Thank you. Because
Not who
because,
she is,
because
because
it's not
she's married.
right because she's married.
You
bro.
made that
because
decision.
you made a decision to sleep with a married woman. Eat that, bro.
And Jada needs to eat that and
be
tell
a
the
man
truth.
and eat that, bro.
And
But
Jada
how-
tell the truth.
She don't have to do nothing.
she
Correct.
And he don't have to shut up.
And he didn't.
Okay.
And now he looks like a sucker.
He's a sucker. How does he look like a sucker for telling the
He's a
truth?
sucker, bro. He's a sucker.
Because
Tekashi
you're-
6ix9ine.
But Jada's not. Jada's
Because reality is that if he hadn't said nothing, this would still be nothing.
And you're using
It
the
wasn't
hypothetical that he wasn't and when we had the conversation, it's a hypothetical that he wasn't putting out an album and or selling merchandise.
No.
The reality is,
No,
yes,
the
it is.
question- no,
The
the
reality
question-
is he is doing those
The
things.
question was, if he wasn't, you would still want him to be quiet.
I would want him to eat that like he's
So don't
supposed
tie
to.
it to him having an album.
But it absolutely
matters
does.
to
It
me.
matters.
It matters as far as perception, but it doesn't matter if it's
Bro.
the truth.
It
It
matters
is the
for the whole
truth.
reason for the interview.
Facts.
The
You
whole
have
reason
a-
was for the interview and him.
It's for his album.
Bruh, because everybody's gonna go get that album because they want to see if he gonna say something about the him and Jada situation. Like,
Facts.
So
literally.
is that his fault?
No, but
No,
that's
but
what he
it's
did it
sucker
for.
I
shit.
can
So
tell
if
you
it's not his
sucker
fault,
shit,
then why are
bro.
you
I'm
blaming?
sorry,
So
because he did it on
was
purpose.
strategic.
Thank
it was a
you.
strategic move
The
on
same
his
way-
part.
the same
And
way
everybody's
was
buying
strategic
into
that
it.
Jada Pinkett is having a red table talk.
Because she had to, because
She
he spoke
has
out about
to.
it. If she didn't say nothing,
Oh my- what are
you
you
would be sitting there
missing?
like, Jada ain't even responding.
Does she
You
have
gonna
to
come
do
to the
it?
red table and not say
Does
nothing?
she have to do it on her platform that she benefits
Why
from?
wouldn't she?
Why wouldn't
So
she?
why shouldn't he?
What are you talking about? One is absolute.
just- no,
one is
no, no, no,
absolute
no.
betrayal.
This is her
One
response to
absolute-
somebody saying
one
something
is-
inflammatory
Does she
about
have to
her.
do it on her platform?
Yes.
Yeah.
So why can't he use his platform?
He can
What
use whatever he wants to,
platform?
but what's
Okay.
the purpose?
But you're trying to say she's doing the same
tell
thing
the
as him
truth.
and she's not.
Bro.
She ain't doing the same thing.
What?
If that's the case, she could
I
have
didn't
came to
say
the
she
red.
was- I
Wait a
didn't
minute.
say she doing
Yes,
the
you
same
just
thing.
And,
No, I
did.
and
didn't.
also,
Oh my
reality is
God.
that she wouldn't be having a red table about this conversation
If
had
he
he
didn't-
not say anything.
Or,
Facts.
or if she wasn't lying about it for the
Conspiracy
last
theorists.
5 years.
Doubt it.
Final
She's
thought.
been lying about
Conspiracy
it.
Doubt it.
theorists.
What
She's been lying about
Doubt
it.
What difference
Bro.
does it make?
One
What
is
different-
one,
okay.
one is betrayal,
So we're-
and
so
the
we're
other one
blaming
is
the person
response to betrayal.
We're not
bro.
blaming-
But
Is
what
it betrayal
difference
that
does
Yes.
it
he's been
make?
lying?
No, it's betrayal that he's went out and talked about it publicly when he's selling that album. He's a sucker, bro.
Okay.
I'm a
So if you
And
don't
she's
want
a
to talk
sucker for
about
not
no,
telling
no,
the
no.
truth.
If you don't want to talk about something publicly, does that mean you're lying?
If somebody asks me a question and I lie about it, that's a lie.
No one ever
But I'm
asked.
They
saying-
have. Jada has denied it for the last 10 years.
And August
So has
also
August.
denied it when he was
So
on
has
her red
August.
table.
Why? Why is that?
Because that was his decision. It was
because
a
he
grown-ass
was
decision.
because he was still getting that yacht on
Okay.
family
So then-
vacations.
so then-
He was
so
They
still
was
then-
hitting that
supposedly
boom
already
boom.
broke up.
So he was told.
He was
not-
still
so
hitting
he
that
was told.
boom boom.
So he was told.
So when that relationship
told.
when that
He was
relationship ended, he was like, you know what I'm gonna do now? I'm not getting my way anymore. My feelings are hurt. I could die today. happy
Well, he
I
said that
smashed
he
Jada.
ended it, so that's not.
Man, come on, bro. Niggas will say anything when they hurt, bro. Final thoughts.
Okay.
They'll say anything, bro. They'll say anything.
Yeah,
in our
that's
own
whack.
personal life.
And women will
It's
say
whack.
anything if they hurt too.
Oh, bro.
And you
Everybody
know that.
will.
You know what?
You know
I
that.
don't care. The next side chick that come out, I need Rob to go this hard for her.
Listen,
Facts.
Go
right
this
now.
hard for her. Look up her past and all her childhood trauma and all that. I need you to go this hard for all the side chicks and not just the male
It's
ones.
just
That's
true.
fine. And I want y'all to go as hard when a black man speaks his truth and he's telling whatever it is his side of the story is and giving him the same freedom
We
that
will.
we give any other woman that has the same situation.
We will when the nigga's not selling merchandise and he's not selling albums at the same
So
time.
the R. Kelly
That's what
documentary,
they'll
are
do.
we mad that
That's
they
what
profited
they'll
off of that?
R. Kelly is
my
a
God.
rapist, my nigga.
Come
What are you
on,
talking
man.
about?
No.
It's
But
not even
hold
the
on.
same.
Hold on. The question is people profiting from their story and their pain? Yes.
But they
So
didn't-
hold on. No.
Yeah.
Are you mad at them being
Wait a-
on R. Kelly and then after that going on tours and then getting money and then profiting from that?
Can
Are
I-
you mad at that? No,
They
I'm
did-
asking
wait,
him.
they
Can I
did-
say
wait, time
this?
out,
I'm asking
time out,
him
time
this.
out, time
No,
out.
answer the question.
It's not even the same.
No,
It's not the same thing.
It's not even the same.
No,
It's not the
not
same
even
thing.
Answer
It's
the
not even-
not the same
Okay,
thing.
let me
Answer the
let, okay,
question.
let me
Just
answer
answer the question.
It's not the same. First
Just
off,
answer the
first
question.
off, if you were raped by R. Kelly, that's totally
Answer
against
the
your will,
question. There
and that's
are-
against the law,
Oh, my
bro.
goodness.
R. Kelly deserves to go
Answer
to
the
jail.
question.
And
That's
if
not-
you
that's
go
not what
on,
he's asking.
and if
That's
you
not what
go,
thank you. That's
listen,
not what I'm
that's
asking.
not
why
what
don't you
he's
let
asking.
me finish?
It's not
And
what
if
I'm
you
asking.
go on tour and you make money after all your pain and suffering, and you can talk about it, and they pay you. It's already out in the
wait a
open,
minute,
but the
no.
R. Kelly thing is already out in
Oh,
the
so
open.
hold on.
Okay.
So
August
August is
Alsina
he's
is-
in pain. He's in
August-
pain and suffering.
Come on, bro.
Are
Bro,
you saying that?
Bro,
His
you
pain and
sound-
suffering.
you sound-
Wait a
you
minute,
sound
but did he
ridiculous.
say
His
that?
pain.
You
Did he
sound
say
ridiculous.
that?
No,
You
he
wanna-
never
Did he
has.
say
you
that?
wanna
Yes.
re- you
Did he
wanna-
say that?
Pain. Yes.
You want to
Wait a
compare
minute.
telling your
No,
story about
no,
being raped and
no.
molested and taken
That's
advantage
not-
of.
Wait a minute,
it's
hold
not
on.
the rape and
Into-
molestation.
yes,
it
it
is.
is.
That's not what
It's
he's asking.
profiting
Wait a minute,
from
hold on.
your story
Listen,
and your pain.
listen. Except for what we're trying to to say is, yes, if he wanted to profit from his story of his molestation when he was a child, great. But how can we tie that pain to a relationship that he willingly entered
Went into, bro.
So now we are picking and choosing what people
Nah,
can
bro.
tell and
What
what
you,
they
what
can't
you,
I'm
tell.
not saying-
you're
no. That's not what I'm
What
saying.
you're doing is you're caping for whole shit,
That's
and then
not
you're
what I'm
trying to
saying.
compare it to
that's
rape.
it because you're
Right.
losing the argument.
You're
now
caping
trying
it
to
I'm sorry, hold on,
You're
hold on.
caping it to
You
rape.
didn't answer the question.
Wait a minute.
I did answer the
BJ,
question.
did he answer the question?
I did answer
He
the
No,
really
he
did.
didn't answer the
Because
question.
you're talking
He
about
answered it.
profiting
He
off
answered
of.
it.
He didn't answer
Bro,
no, he
He
didn't.
yes,
said,
I did.
yes,
I
he
said-
did.
I
He
said
He
said,
said
yeah.
that they can,
Right.
but he can't.
Bro, it's two totally
It's
different
not the
things.
same.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Bro,
Can he or
it's
can he not?
two totally
Can
different
he
things.
or can
Bro,
he not?
when you're
No.
a side nigga,
So no, but
he
the R.
shouldn't.
Kelly victims can.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Was August raped
Nope.
He was molested.
by Jada?
By Jada and
Not
Will?
by Jada.
Okay, then.
Okay,
hold on.
different
No,
things.
Okay, then.
But what I'm saying is, it happened. Did it happen or not?
Bro,
What?
Not
What?
him being molested by
he's
Jada.
a hoe,
What?
bro.
Did
He's a
did the
sucker,
rela-
bro.
Did the relationship
He's a hoe.
Did the relationship happen?
I don't know. We only
don't
have
know.
one side of the
We
story.
think it happened.
Okay.
Well, according
He can
to
tell
August,
it.
he said
so.
it
If it happened and I was involved in it and I was in it and I was the one that was getting affected, then guess what? I can talk about
So
it.
Except for, is he saying the relationship affected him negatively, or is he saying his
Who-
past
what, ma-
affected?
what matters?
This is right.
How
It
does it
does
matter?
matter.
This
It
is
matters.
right.
How does
It,
it
it
matter?
matters on
It
how we
matters.
feel
I
about
can see
his
that right
interview.
now.
It
So
matters.
I can only talk about something if it affected me negatively.
No.
But I
No, bro.
That's not what I'm saying.
Come on, bro. You,
So
It's
what
not
he
what
saying?
I'm saying.
Hey, so what he saying?
What I am saying is right now, it sounds like people are trying to tie the two together.
No.
Okay.
I never said that.
Okay, but-
did I say that?
He always
No.
say some shit and be like,
But
I didn't
hold on,
say
hold
that.
on, hold
I didn't say to tie them together.
No, what I'm
wait,
saying,
wait.
what I'm saying is that it sounds like we want to say because he was molested as a child, and then because he was 22 and entered a relationship with a 43-year-old at the time, that it was because of his trauma that he did that, and she took advantage of his vulnerability.
That's what you're saying.
And we cannot say that. We don't know the situation of his mindset when he entered into that relationship, or if that relationship wasn't just at first a friendship, that she was helping him get through whatever trauma that he was going through, and then later it developed into something else. We can't say anything, but we don't know.
all I know is he had a handshake from Will. He's not gonna do it,
ain't
bro.
No, hold on.
He's not gonna do it, bro.
No, we don't know. We don't know, but you can't say it either way though. So you're
You know-
arguing.
you know what we
you're-
can
no,
say?
He's arguing.
He's a sucker.
He's arguing that he's using it for his
Yes.
profit, and he shouldn't be doing that. But if it
But
didn't
he
happen,
is.
but if it didn't happen,
But
hold
you
on.
can tell your truth without damaging everyone else, bro.
Right.
How are you telling
He
your
could- he
truth?
could-
So, but she suppressing her truth was damaging him.
Listen.
But
So
how do
why
we
does
know
he
that?
say
We don't know that.
You don't know that he's
Because
damaged.
he's
don't know
been
that.
sweating to talk about it for the last 3
The
years.
damage that he's suffering is self-inflicted from messing with a married couple, bro.
So then
from
it's the same thing for Jada.
From
So it's the
expecting,
same thing for
from
But
Jada.
she didn't say she was experiencing
Then why
anything.
lie about it?
We don't know her story yet. Her red table hasn't happened.
Why lie about it?
She's
Her
not. It's
red
not
table talk ain't
It
came
happened
out yet.
What about them being in a relationship?
We don't know what she gonna say on this red
So
table
all
talk.
the pictures with August and Jada being hugged up and booed up,
Hey.
those are just regular pictures.
Bro,
with
he-
Jada, with August going on vacation with everybody but Will, that just happened just by circumstance.
Will went on vacation too.
Not on the,
what are you talking
no,
about?
There's
Bro,
pictures with him not there.
Yeah, but does he have to go when you said it's okay to fuck my
Would
wife?
you let your wife go on vacation?
No,
with
because I'm
another
not a
woman?
fucking psychopath, bro.
Okay,
There's
then.
I respect my wife and I respect my marriage enough to not say,
So then does that
hey,
look odd?
hey, you can. What are you talking? Of course it looks
So
odd.
then you're arguing a point that we both agree on. You think it happened, right?
That they messed around?
Yes,
absolutely.
So why are you talking? Why are you arguing it?
Because
The
we
reason
feel
I'm
like
arguing
it's
is because
whack
he came
that
out.
he
He's
came
whack
out.
as fuck, bro.
Yeah.
He had the
But that
best
wasn't
job
arguing.
on earth, dog. Having sex with Jada Pickett's got to be one of the
To
top
you.
5.
To you.
No, to most men. You
Okay.
already agreed that you
He's
would
not
do it.
most men.
You agreed that you would do it.
He's
not
You
most
agreed
men.
that you would do it. Come
He's
on,
not
bro.
most
You
men.
have-
Of course not. He's
He
a
stayed
sucker.
in that.
He's doing
he
a
stayed in
bad
that
job of being a
relationship for
side
3
nigga.
years.
Okay.
He stayed there because he wanted to stay
'Cause
there
he
for
wanted
3
to
Wait, hold
years.
on.
be
So
there.
first you said that we don't know when the relationship started.
No, we've been talking even off that they got together and at least became friends in 2015. We know somewhere in between there, between 15 and 18, an intimate relationship supposedly took place, right?
Supposedly, allegedly,
Okay,
but we don't know.
but
Always a legend.
Why would he? Why would
but
he say it if it didn't
all I'm
happen?
saying is he's
No, that's
all
not
I'm
my
saying.
argument, sir.
All I'm saying is he stayed.
He stayed.
Okay.
And then
So-
when he got his album credits, getting ready to
That's
roll.
all I'm saying. He stayed.
And all I'm saying is in the state of mind that he's in, I think it's a fair assumption to say that there was some manipulation going on in the. That's my opinion.
Your, yeah.
That's your opinion.
All right,
and
final
you
thoughts.
entitled-
That's your final
That's
thoughts.
your-
Nothing else other than that.
That's
Go
his
ahead.
final thought.
Go right
Final
on
thought.
ahead.
Mine is that he
Name
entered
my
in.
final
It
thought.
is. She
No, it is.
She
We
finalized
yeah.
you.
No, it ain't.
She
That's not my
finalized.
final
Oh,
thought. That ain't my final thought. You ain't finalize
She
me.
finalized.
We
You
ain't-
ain't
Hey,
finalized
wrap
me.
it
We
up.
on time limit,
Wrap
bro.
it up.
Okay,
bro.
wrap it up.
up.
You wrap it up. Tell me to wrap it up. Cut
No,
your mic
okay.
off. Put you on mute.
Hey,
So
look. Go
my
ahead, what's your
final thought
thought?
is don't enter into relationships with married people, period. I don't care if they're almost divorced, whatever they call in their relationship, you should not enter into a relationship with somebody that's in a relationship, period. And I feel like their marriage is their marriage. It might not be for you. But at the end of the day, I feel like as a married person, I know how hard it is to keep a marriage going. And I've only been in it 3 years. How long they been married?
Long
Oh,
enough to know
long
better.
Decades.
Long enough to know
Some
better.
decades, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I can only speak to 3 years of marriage. So like I said, you don't know what it takes to make a marriage last that long unless you've been in a marriage that long. So what you're doing right now, you might think is working, but if 5 years from now your relationship is over, your marriage is ended, obviously you didn't have the answer, Sway. So let their marriage be their marriage. Mind your own marriage. Get your own shit in order first while you worried about what's going on in somebody else's house.
I agree.
I agree with everything you just said. I agree that you should worry about yourself, except for their celebrities, and except for this is public information, and except for this sucker ass nigga went online and he went crying about it. Okay, so if August Alsina didn't do what he did, we wouldn't even be talking about August Alsina. We wouldn't know about his docu-series. We wouldn't know about his album. We wouldn't know about his clothing line. He's a sucker, bro. So my final thoughts are, if in fact you want to play side nigga games or side chick games, follow the rules. Don't get emotional. Play your part. I don't feel bad for you when the wife doesn't leave or the husband doesn't leave. You should never bet on that. That's foolish. That doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't make any sense. No one's going to let you come in and ruin their empire. And even if they leave, half the time they don't fucking stay. So all I'm saying is this. As a grown man, anything else in life he would have done. 18 years old or signed any contract, been any other legal situation, any legally binding agreement at 18. They don't say he was vulnerable at the time, so these don't stand. It does all stand, bro. He made grown man decisions.
Okay.
Stevie Wonder's still in contracts and he's blind all the time, bro. Get out of here.
Bro.
Trying to use that vulnerability on me.
I am
Says the person that has an album coming out called The Best Heartbreak Ever.
Because I'm
Next.
not lying about my heartbreak and the things I've done to other
you're
people.
telling your truth.
Yeah, but I didn't name
Oh,
names.
and you're profiting
I
off of
didn't
it.
name names.
And
I
you're
didn't
profiting
ruin
off of
anybody
it.
else's
Okay.
life.
Next.
Come on,
Come
bro.
on.
I
Ruin
didn't
somebody's
name
life by
names.
telling the truth.
Dude, he's trash. Ass fuck.
Jada shouldn't have done it. Next.
I don't agree. I mean, I really don't agree. I just believe that 3 consenting adults entered into a consensual situation that should have remained private. Whether it's his story or not, or if he was in a healing process, he could have picked a more private way to go through his healing process, because healing yourself does not mean damaging other people.
Give her the horn.
So don't. You're right. We're going to give it a horn. We're going to give it a horn. The doctor's in the house. Photo B.
Just period.
I'm
And
sorry.
again, I'll say that he made grown man decisions.
What kind of decisions?
Grown ass man.
Hey, what kind of consequences
decisions.
do you get with grown man
You
decisions?
get grown ass man
Boom.
consequences.
That's all I'm saying.
That's all.
Photo B.
All right. We don't know. When it comes to celebrity relationships or anybody relationship in general, unless we're like with them, we have no idea what the hell's going on. We don't know what is said. We don't know what was discussed, what was expected. None of that. We can only see what. We can only see what we're given to see.
Okay.
But there's something I wanted to point out a little bit earlier. Rob, you asked the difference between when they had the R. Kelly documents, and everybody was like, people were going out afterwards and kind of making money off of that afterwards. I think what was missed was the fact that yes, the stories were different, but there are still stories that are being told, and they're still making money off of it on all sides.
Facts.
So will that really necessarily be any different, regardless of whose life is being ruined? And honestly, I don't feel like this is going to ruin Jada's life at all.
At all.
It's not that big of a. It's
At
not
all.
that.
Or
big.
August's life at
Right.
all.
But that wasn't the argument.
But
You
those
guys said
people that
Jada's
were
life.
raped by R.
You
Kelly
guys
are
said Jada's life. Let him finish.
Right.
crazy,
Like these.
I'm gonna slap that off the table next time you do that.
Like this story right here isn't big enough to ruin anybody's life.
He's so petty, bro.
Like this story isn't big enough to ruin anybody's life.
She's gonna profit from it.
Right. And they're all going to, because everybody's name is being picked up right now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's not like when it comes to.
Hey, is August a
selling-
hoe or not?
Let him finish his final thoughts.
Is he a hoe or not?
I'm gonna mute your mic. Go
I
ahead.
don't know. I don't know.
That's some hoe shit you would do?
What?
That's not, we ain't talking.
Snitch?
See, look, now
Yeah,
you changed the
snitch.
I ain't
subject.
snitching.
Exactly.
He ain't snitching because he trying to protect Will.
Y'all are so.
He want to be around Will as much as he can.
You feel me?
This nigga Joyner Lucas.
All right. Final thoughts. Everybody had good points. I just want to point out that I think that everybody should go, like I said, watch a documentary, watch a full interview, get full context. At the end of the day, I feel like black men, just in our state of mind, that we feel like that we cannot speak, tell our truths, tell what we've been through. And I want to just tell all the kings out there, man, speak your truth no matter what's going on. Bottom line is, this is my theory. I think Jada Pinkett, Will, August all sat down. They all knew this was going to happen. They all knew August wanted to talk about it. They gave him his blessing. They said, if we're going to talk about it, let's all profit from it. You drop it when your album comes. We'll have a red talk table. We'll all profit from this, because if not, somebody else will. So I think during this whole little Jada Pinkett red talk table, she's going to have one by herself. They're all going to be on one after that. They're all going to be able to have this little kumbaya conversation, all be friends again. Nobody's going to be talking about this after that anyway.
I think that's the most fire thing you've said this whole podcast.
Give me a horn.
I think that's it, because that's the only thing you said that made sense this whole time.
The only thing.
BJ, tell me, make sure that I mute his mic next episode.
Gotcha.
All right, now we gonna let everybody go. I guess we don't need to do your trash. Trash.
Well, you know who it is.
We already know it's
August
August
Alsina.
Alsina. All right.
Trash as fuck.
All right, so we don't need to do that. We want to thank everybody. We definitely want to thank Dr. Nicole S. Jackson for coming on and giving us all those bars on our healing, right? We want to thank everybody that's listening, YouTube, Spotify, streaming services. We want to remind everybody that please 5-star, follow, subscribe.
Ring
If
the
you
bell.
comment, we will read your comments on the next episode, as long as they are, in our favor. If they're not, we're going to delete them. All right?
Because we're August Alsina and we only want what's best for us.
Facts. All right, so everybody stay up. For those that are celebrating the 4th, have a happy 4th. For those that are not, power to the people.
Black power.
And we want to just give y'all blessings, love, and if y'all staying after to listen to the Issa Bop, we'll be getting to the Issa Bop after this, all right?
Yeah.
All right. It's the Issa Bop competition. We are back. I know last episode we didn't get a chance to get that done, but we are back with 2 contenders. We have Hyph Wicks and Tre Mak, both from Sacramento. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to play the first track, which is Hyph Wicks. I think it's called Square Emotions. Yes, Square Emotions. Let's go.
Hey, turn
I
that
love
up,
talking
DJ.
about real life, man. Dude, life is an everyday fight. We just some niggas with them square emotions. Bottle service just to drink the potion. We losing faith for is we losing focus. We losing faith because we young and hopeless. And I pour for a celebration. We black, we celebrate any occasion. She not Asian, she full of persuasion. Let's talk on them on penetration. Living life like gangsters. Republicans, political gangsters. The Democrats, they never changed us. They give us shit, then they restrain us. They let us free, then they detain us. Them jails is overpopulated. Shawty pregnant and undereducated. Now that she knocked up her graduation, she never made it. She walked the blade before she walked the stage. He served his time, now he's out the cage. Only thing on his mind is money get paid, but overwork and underpaid, a modern day slave. So fuck a 9 to 5, we set it up and rob him. In Houston, we got a problem, cause I'm a fucking problem. The oxycontins and values, I'm about to pump the value. I'm kicking shit like I'm Ryu, I leave you in the bayou. Hot you, and I can bless you, fuck you in the restroom. Mama test you, but killer is what I'm next to. Respect you, I won't even. I got bars, they uneven. I pop bars, I'm still sleeping. Cop cars, they still screeching. We just them niggas with them square emotions. Bottle service just to drink the potion. We losing faith, or we losing focus. We losing faith because we young and hopeless. We just them niggas with them square emotions. Bottle service just to drink the potion. We losing faith, or we losing focus. We losing faith because we young and hopeless. And I'm still with that shit, my nigga. And that liquor still killing my liver. If I fall off, would you look at me different? Ain't no filters in real life and you look a little different. A vision of death from Malcolm X. I'm off the loot through the knife and the tech. Actors in Hollywood out there scheming for sex. Harassing all these women who daughter be next. I'm Russell Simmons on top of Adidas. They wanna teach us, so they had to free us. Death before the signer, they dying for sneakers. That's where the Rev run, baby, running to Jesus. They shooting up the churches, yeah, the place we worship. My grandma needed 9 just to protect the persons. My mama told me that this shit ain't perfect. I told my mama I wanna be perfect, and I'm a perfect imperfection of antidepressants. And they tie all my niggas, they strapped down with the weapons. I'm bulletproof from the ride and get it weaponized. With 45s and 9s, these niggas taking lives. Now choose a side that get rolled down, don't prolong. I'm so gone, I'm so on. The white bitches on my dick, she sucked me so long. Man, I'm so gone. Hey, man, I'm so gone. Turned on some college singers, then I call it leaving. I catch you slipping, I leave you licking, then pray to Jesus. It's killer season, I'm Willie Beeman, it's rookie season. I binge drinking, I bottle pop, you get molly wild. Them back shots make her booty pop just like tootie shots. The tootie popped in your homie dropped, then we move the spot. We all we got, we all we got, we all we got. We all we got, we all we got, we all we got. We all we got, like 2 quarters to new order. The killing started, the war's over, they losing soldiers. Man, they losing soldiers. The killing started, the war is over, they losing soldiers.
All right, that was Hyph Wicks with Square Emotions.
Hard.
He's talking about trauma earlier.
Hard.
Woo.
Hard.
All right, the
like
next
that.
competitor we got coming up, we got Tre Mak, straight from North Highlands, Sacramento, California. It's called Different.
I'm a little different. Came back with the bang bang, posted on the turf like a chain gang. I ain't humble enough for the plain Jane. Let them see the diamonds on that damn thing. Party on, Wayne Wayne. Lions on the table, long as Soul Train. She new to California, she don't know things. Champagne bottles, blowing propane. Swinging on my nuts like an orangutan. Winter circle, working on my golf swing. Ball like a James gang. Wake up in the morning, do the same thing. Bald head nigga with a nose ring. Came to bring the pain, death row chain. This why all my niggas in the holding tank. Barcelona, Spain when we overcame. I'm a little different. Yeah, always been a little different. Give him something a little different. Yeah, look, paid a couple dollars to provoke change. Never fuck with niggas that have spoke things. Rules to the game we gotta maintain. Whatever's understood is never explained. Handed out opportunities but no same. Headlining different cities off of no fame. Mistake number 1, you think we all the same. I can't listen to your shit if I don't hear the pain. Prison system overpacked, free my cutty man. Wondering where the fuck he went, singing Chocolate Rain. Play your stocking cap over pocket change. Stock change in the hood is why we cock it aim. Old motherfucker all in your lane. Hopping out the whip like it's road rage. Troll colors on my chain, get my Facebook troll game on. So killer with my post game. Yeah, I'm a little different. Always been a little different. Yeah, give me something a little different. Yeah.
Issa Bop. Hard.
That beat.
That was fire.
That was Tre Mak. Different.
I'm gonna try to stay neutral.
Yeah, we gotta stay neutral. No, say what you like. What you like?
I like that beat on that second one. Really, just really had me like. I was trying not to be extra hard. I want to be.
But it makes you want to go hard.
You gotta tell the truth.
The
Yeah.
stank face, the whole record,
The whole time.
As soon as you get the.
Yeah, that beat is hard.
It made me feel like ASAP Mob. Ferg.
Yeah.
Fergie,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the hook was so simple, but it gave you. You want to talk about bop?
Yeah, that was a bop.
For sure.
I think they both have different bops. I think the first one was like just transparent, honest. Is what he was talking about was
that
like
shit was hard too.
That was talking about a lot of trauma, and then the second one was just kind of the nice beat.
I
the
like
lyrics
the beat
too.
on the
And I did
first one too.
I did like what he said. If I don't hear the pain in it, I don't want to listen to it.
Right.
Yeah, bars. You know what else he said? He said, "Rules to the game we maintain." Just so August Alsina.
Oh my God! Here we go. I knew you was going there.
Well, anyway, that was a great
Anyway.
Bop section.
We-
That was
You
hilarious.
knew what you were doing. We know we out here scraping. We know we out here. We might go. He said, "I don't hang with nobody telling. Rules to the game we maintain, bro."
Here we go.
I'm just saying.
I think he talked
There
the
you
street
go.
code. Anyway, so we would like to highlight 2 artists to make sure that they get heard. So please share. For you to vote on who you like in the Issa Bop, you have to do one of 3 things. You have to like, you have to subscribe to the channel, and you have to comment on which one that you like. We will tally up the votes, and then whoever does win, we will feature them on the Facebook and Instagram page the following week. So if you do not do those 3 things, the vote doesn't count. Like, subscribe, and then comment. And share. We'd like you to share.
Let's go.
All right?
Hey, they were both hard.
And if you would like to be a part of the Issa Bop, you have to email us. We like to get artists that do not usually get shine on our channel. So email us at the reverbexperiment@gmail.com. All right? Cool. Enjoy your guys' weekend.
Yeah.
All right.
Out.
All right.